Good evening and welcome to the final round of this F2 Championship. We're at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore, where we've got a title decided up that goes between Don Argent and Ramsdell. We've just begun one-shot qualifying, where all 14 drivers will be posting their times at exactly the same time as each other. Of course, that will save time, as opposed to seeing them go round one by one. We'll go to Luna Ascari for this instance, as it's a long time since she's actually competed in the Formula Racing League. We'll go on board with her. She goes through turn 7. Very nice turn in there. Now she prepares for turn 8 in second gear. Probably took more curve than she would have liked to have done, but at least she's got through the corner anyhow and nailed the apex. Oh, she got a kick of wheel spin on the exit of turn 9. Which won't do her speed on the back straight, the short back straight too good. Through 11 and 12 over the Anderson Bridge. Nicely done through there. Nicely positioned, but she slides into the hairpin. So exiting the turn there, she's currently behind Don Argent as far as the times is concerned. But she's coming through to turn 14, no problem there. And then she'll go through turn 15 and 16 without a problem, through 17 over the curb, 18, 19, and then through this chicane of 20 and 21. And in the last two corners, the left-handers of 22 and 23. And over the line, and Luna Ascari will start third place on the grid, I should say, for a decent effort on her return. So it's Mini Ramsdell who is on pole ahead of the Trident, that is William Gaiman, which is 4 championship points for his total. So here's your grid then for the feature race, with Ramsdell on pole ahead of William Gaiman alongside. It's Luna Ascari and Winfield on the second row. Stephen and Wild Dog on next, ahead of Vintage and Moody. Statisting and Hello There running out the top 10. Dust was the last of the drivers to post a time. Don Argent was disqualified from that session, remarkably. Here goes to 12th on the grid, ahead of Elizabeth Shahid and Podge, who round off the grid. That was qualifying. We go on to the race very, very shortly for this 17-lap feature race. So the championship as it stands going into this feature race. Just getting the championship standings up whilst we're waiting for the formation lap to begin. And so the formation lap will begin now to see the drivers go off and warm up their dry tyres. Now let's see who's starting on what. In fact, they're all starting on the soft compound. So Ramsdell leads the field on the formation lap. So as it stands going into the final round, well, Argent had a 49-point lead over Ramsdell. That's been cut down to 45 now. So you have to say that Ramsdell needs to get every point he can in this one to give himself a chance going into the last round. But the things with the last round, the last race, the sprint race later on, there's 32 points, a maximum up for grabs. So even if Ramsdell was to win the race, Don Argent could still finish second and win the championship with one race to spare. So Ramsell continuing to lead round. Will he convert this into another victory? He's won a lot of victories this season, has to be said, despite being a late entry to the campaign. He's got Will behind him and Luna as well. Winfield will be looking to end his season on a high after a disappointing showing at Imola. He was very unlucky, to be honest with you, because he came together with, I think it was his teammate that sent him into the barrier on the exit of the Aquamarine and Raleigh section at Imola. We're hoping to rebound from that tonight here in Singapore. So 14 cars ready to go on this grid. And the 17-lap event will get underway. Who will lead the field into turn 1? Will it be Ramsell, will it be Will, or will it be Luna heading through there first? All the cars are in position then, ready to go here at the Marina Bay Street circuit. So for the penultimate time, the 5 red lights will appear, and when they extinguish, the last round of this F2 season will begin. It's lights out, and away we go. Ramsell gets on the line very, very well. Will gets off to a very poor start, allows Winfield and Luna to get by into second and third places. So Ramsell leads coming out of the first turn, ahead of Luna in second place. It's Winfield ahead of Will, who goes side by side with the ART of Stephen coming into turn 3 there. And Wild Dog seems to have got through as well. And he's going side by side with Stephen into turn number 5. And Wild Dog gets through, and that's a Prema in the wall, and that's Winfield. So Winfield continuing with his own maladies from last week at Imola, and he's gone backwards and has broken his front wing. So that allows Will back into third place. Luna on the tail of the high-tech of Ramsell as they go through turn number 8. And Ramsell will be looking to pull away from her as the race goes on. This will be a longer feature race than we have seen on most circuits because of the nature of this Singapore circuit. Ramsell sliding a bit wide there into turns 11 and 12. John Argent up to 10th place as well in the other high-tech, so at the moment as it stands in the championship, Ramsell will be on course to get 40 championship points. Don Argent would collect only 8. So the championship gap would cut down from what was 45 at the beginning of the event, would be down to just 13. And that will throw Ramsell right in the running for the title going into the last race later tonight. Luna just getting a bit out of shape there on the exit of turn 21. She'll want to stay in touch with Ramsell. And there's Don Argent in 10th position. As Moody's out of the race, he's crashed out on the pit straight, and that will bring out a safety car for sure, I'd reckon. That's the first retirement. He's binned it on the exit of the last turn. And so the virtual safety car is deployed. Now, the feature race does include a mandatory pit stop, but you can't take that mandatory pit stop under a virtual safety car. You can under a safety car, but not under a virtual. You can't take your mandatory pit stop until the end of lap 3. We're on lap 2 at the moment, so if you do choose to pit in now, it will not count as your mandatory pit stop. Ramsell is in the race lead, thinking about when to go. As Luna Ascari will be looking to chase. She goes over the curve there on the exit of turn number 9. And so the race will resume very, very shortly here. We're back on the way then, here in Singapore, with Ascari chasing after Ramsel. The gap is 1.4 seconds. And there's Wild Dog in 5th place, who gets a track limits penalty there. He's cutting across the corners too much at the moment, so he needs to calm down and just get back into a rhythm and stop exceeding the track limits. There's Stephen behind as well in the ART. That's the old exit, turn 21, and DRS is now enabled. And Ascari is 2 seconds behind Ramsel now, so she won't be able to use the DRS when she gets to when she gets to the detection zone, or when she gets to the activation zone, I should say. And there's Vintage under threat here from the Carlin of Podge, who dives to the inside, and that is him through into 7th position. And Don Argent also following through into 8th place. Rear wing open on Argent's car as they come towards turn number 7. Argent not finding a way through yet. He needs every point he can to make sure he has a good lead in the points battle going into the sprint race later on, as Luna Ascari has got the gap back down to 1.7 seconds. Going after Ramsel all the time. Neat line, it has to be said, into turn 13. Don Argent using the DRS on this short back straight. He won't be able to complete a switchback on Podge when they go through turn 16 and 17. Statistic King is ahead of them as well. And Wild Dog with a penalty now for track limits. That's his second one of the race, so he's got his work cut out as Ramsel posts a new fastest lap. There's Don Argent looking to get through at the moment. Can he get in front of the ART and the Carling into turn 1? They go 3 abreast, sandwiched in between each other, and looks like someone's gone for a spin, is it? No, I think it's Hello there, who's ducked into the pits for a change of nose cone. And now Wild Dog is on the back of William here in the battle for 3rd place. Wild Dog trying to get through on Will at the moment. Vintage in 9th position. Just for your information, the top 15 finishers score points, although we've only got 14 or 13 I should say still running. They would all get points should they finish. So Ramsel's gap is 3.3 seconds, with Luna in 2nd place, in 3rd ahead of Wild Dog in 4th position. Argent's up to 6th place now in the high tech. Next man ahead of him is Stephen. And Argent with a new fastest lap. That's crucial for the championship. With him in 6th place. 6th place nets you 16 championship points. I know he could make it 18 championship points if he can get by Stephen as well. But he's got 2 points for the fastest lap, so he's actually on 18 points, is Argent, as he looks to overtake Stephen for 5th place. As he gets by him on this back straight. This will put him potentially on 20 championship points for this race. Stephen's not giving it up though, so he's given championship favourite a run for his money here, but Arjun eventually gets to and into 5th place now. So Arjun on 20 championship points. Ramsell on course for 40 plus the 4 for the pole position which he got earlier. So the gap would come down to 25 points, which would not be enough for Arjun to clinch the title in this race. Now, once he gets by Wild Dog, as it stands with the penalty, he would be ahead of him. So Arjun would get another 2 points. So it's a 27-point gap he would have. But the gap he needs is 33. And by doing that, he needs to finish on the podium and keep hold of the fastest lap if he can. So Lucifer getting a time penalty for track limits now. 3 seconds it is. As Ramsell completes lap 5. The gap he has over Lunar Ascari is 4.5 seconds. There's Wild Dog running wide there again. Needs to be very careful here. There's multiple drivers going wide. So Podge going after Stephen in the battle over 6th position. And there's Dust in 10th place. Lucifer in 11th, and Winfield, you can see with that damaged front wing dropping way too much time at the moment. He needs to think about when is the best time to pit in. It's probably the best time when there's a safety car. That would very much bring him right back into play. As Podge, I think he's received a penalty for track limits now, and he's just got by Stephen for 6th place. As Arjun continues to go after Wild Dog. And William now with a time penalty. That'll be good news for Arjun. Arjun will have the DRS behind Wild Dog. To the outside he goes. Can he complete the move? He'll be later on the brakes, I can imagine. Arjun to the outside. He stays there. He can't get in front of Wild Dog on this occasion. He stays to the outside. Oh, he goes off track there. I'm not sure if that move will be legal, to be honest with you. I think Wild Dog may have damage to the left-hand side of his front wing, to be honest with you. Yes, he has. So Wild Dog's struggling to get the car turned into the corners. I wonder if maybe for what happened on the first lap involving him and Winfield. Arjun getting a very nice exit, DRS open, and that is him up to 4th place now on the road. So good move there from Arjun. He's basically 1 position away from clinching the title. He's got 11 laps to do that. He's got enough time. Dust gets a time penalty for track limits. Once he gets by William, can he go after Lunar Ascari? It looks like Hello there has slowed down, and so yeah, he's damaged his front wing, and I think this is going to be the end of the race for him. He's going to go down a lap most certainly. So Hello there into the pits. Arjun with a new fastest lap, 1:53.9 for him. Continuing on a charge, he's 1.7 seconds behind Will. So it's a good chase he's on. Scurry 6 seconds behind Ramsell in the battle for the lead. Arjun is a quarter of a second up from before through sector 1. That was helped by the DRS which he was able to use. Actually, never so hard, actually. See how much Arjun is pushing the car as it goes through turn 14, and now they're about to go through the King of 15, and then we've got a chicane of 16 and 17. These two will get through. Will runs a little bit wide. Arjun has a better line. Now, will Arjun do what he did so before with Wild Dog and get a better exit coming onto the pit straight? Another glitch there. So Arjun and Will doesn't get the exit he needs there. Arjun with the DRS open, it goes to the outside, and is that Arjun through into third place? The answer looks to be yes. He'll get a better exit coming out of turn 3, no problem. And someone's gone off. It's dust in the wall on the pit straight. And that is him out of the race. And we've got a safety car here in Singapore. Now, I'd imagine that everyone will be in the pits for their mandatory pit stops. Winfield's taking the opportunity to come in straight away. Now, all the drivers have to adhere to a safety car delta. If they exceed that by going too fast or too slow, it will be a drive-through penalty. And they won't be able to take that until after the safety car has gone back in again. Ramsell in the lead, looking to close it out with a victory, and it's good news for Luna Ascari. She looks to get back in and have a go on Ramsell. Ramsell decides the time is right for him to hit in. Scurry will do the same. And then Don also coming in. And so the safety car is just waiting to pick up the leaders. And Don Argent penalised for speeding in the pit lane. That's a bad dent to his championship hopes. There he goes. Now Podge has decided to stay out there, which is interesting. So I thought it would have just come in and get his tyres changed. He fancies staying on a longer first stint. Well, Statistic King and Lucifer decided to do the same, and they haven't got anything to lose. So that leaves Luna Ascari in 5th place. Will 6th and Arjun 7th. So I would say we're going to be behind the safety car for a couple of laps. Now with Ramsell in second place, well, technically the race victory. Once Statistic King and Lucifer have been in, as it stands, it would not be enough, I don't think, for Argent to be crowned champion after this race is done. Now Podge, who went into the round with 170 points, 51 behind Swanshanks, who isn't competing tonight. Maybe a slim chance of finishing 6th. And Podge looking to extend the stint that he is on. He may decide to pit in this lap, you know. I think if I was him, I would do that, because I was going to lose too much time on the restart. But he stays out. Now, Podge has decided to stay out there. What about the others? Well, Statistic King and Lucifer deciding to pit. Lucifer needs to get a new front wing fitted on anyway. So Podge, the only one out there that did not pit under the safety car. And I'm very, very surprised. And looks like Hello there has ripped off his front wing under the safety car. It's just very silly of him to lose his front wing. He's into the pits now, and I think this is going to be his race over, to be honest with you. I just wonder whether the safety car will actually come in this lap, or whether it'll go out for one more lap, which may be the point for Podge to pit in and get the super soft tyre on. Will the safety car go in at the end of this lap? Doesn't look as though it will be. So this should surely be the point where Podge decides to pit in at the end of this lap. Well, the lights are still on, so is Podge deciding to pit in this lap? Yes, he is. And so the safety car remains out there for the third and final lap of its stint before it comes back in. It'll go back in no matter what happens. And it looks like Winfield is also in. Is this to get another set of the super soft compound on? It is. So we've got the appropriate order that we've got now. As it stands, with where Don Argent is, this would be not enough for him to clinch the championship in this feature race. But we'll see how the restart plays out for the remaining 5 laps. Ramsell looking to get the championship wrapped up. As it stands, he doesn't have the fast stop of the race that is currently Arjun's. And the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. So Ramsell will allow the pace car to pull away. He's got the field behind him, needs to watch what he does as well. Lunar Scurry needs to be careful not to get caught napping on the restart. So Ramsell thinking about when to go here. He's gone now, look. So Ramsell leads on the restart here in Singapore. Lunaskari in second place with Will under threat here for Margin, who goes to the inside into turn 1, breaks later than the Charoux, and he's through into third place. Nice move there for Margin. Remember, he has that 5-second time penalty, which he'll need to serve at the end of the race. So if he's going to clinch the championship, he needs to start pulling away from a lot of these guys. Hello there is into the pits yet again with front wing damage. Don't know what it is with him tonight. He's been in the wars far too much. Scurry remaining in touch. Ramsell looking to maintain the position in the moment. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. You can see Arjun closing up behind Scurry at the moment. Luna will know that Arjun has a penalty, but she won't want to let him by in case Arjun decides to hold her up and favour his teammate. So Arjun looking to get through on the inside here of Ascari. He goes for it. The 2 nearly making contact. But lives on to fight another day as William continues to get penalised for track limits. So Arjun eager to get past Luna here. He had a better entry into the last couple of corners. Is he going to have the speed down the straight there? Ramsell with a new fastest up, so Arjun needs to get by Luna here. Into turn 1, the 2 go side by side. They leave each other room, and Arjun is through into second place. So Arjun can start pulling it away now. He needs to pull away before the DRS gets enabled at the end of this lap. Stephen also penalised for track limits. So as it stands, looking at the penalties at the moment, Arjun would be crowned champion as it stands. So third place, Rams would get 46 points. Well, 42 in the race, plus the pole position points. Arjun, should he drop to third, he would get 26. So as it stands, this would not be enough into the championship. So if he is to win it, he needs to get back the fastest lap points or finish second. You can see he's hit the wall, and Arjun's front wing's damaged. A twist in the tail, Arjun's front wing's damaged, and he's have to go through that the remainder of the race, and there's no point pitting in, because he'll lose too much time, too many positions, and now he's got a penalty for track limits. So it's damage limitation time for Arjun. Ramsdale with a new fastest lap just to add insult to injury. And it looks like someone's had a spin as well. Is that Winfield has gone for a spin? I think it is. He continues on his way though. Ramsdale continuing to lead. Vintage gets past Wild Dog on the inside into turn 1. Wild Dog can't keep his car within the track limits there. That was just a blatant corner cut. 15 seconds worth of time penalty for Wild Dog. Just way too much. Diving to the inside, makes contact with the dams. And now look at this, a four-way buckle up. Oh, it's a contact made! Wild Dog runs into the back. And total carnage. Wild Dog off into the runoff area. And you have to say, oh, it's difficult to say whose fault it was there, to be quite honest with you. Debris all over the place. The safety car won't come out because of the the number of laps we've got left in the race. But we'll just watch Lucifer as he tries to make a move on Vintage. Doesn't make this move stick. But Wild Dog in the runoff area, no front wing to his car. And he won't be too pleased with that one bit. At least that's helped Arjun actually, because with those drivers having their own maladies, Arjun still has a chance of maybe clinching the championship, or virtually clinching the championship. 45 before the race started. As it stands, it'll a third place finish. And Ramsdale getting the points for the fast lap and the race victory. We can see the gap cut down to 29. With 32 still left on the table in the sprint race. Now Luna Scurry back in DRS range to have a go on Arjun here. He's back ahead of Vintage. DRS open. Scurry to the outside. Wheels closing in as well. He's now within that 2-second margin of Don Arjun. So as it stands, Arjun will be down to 4th place. And that's another 6 points lost in the race for the title, which will see the gap come down to 23. Luna wants to get past Arjun here, no question. We're on the penultimate lap of the race now. Arjun struggling to get the power down. And Statistic King gets past Podge for 5th place. Statistic King's a long way behind Will at the moment, so he won't be moving up any positions by the time this race is over. So Ramsdale is about to start the last lap of this race. Is Ascari able to get through on Arjun? Arjun running wide again on the exit of the last turn. Ascari may just be happy to just wait behind him until the checker flag falls. Now on the last lap, you can see a back marker ahead. That is hello there. He's been lapped twice now in this race, actually. Still be classified, though. Ascari nearly getting in front of Arjun there on the exit of turn 7. Hello there needs to get out of the way here and let these go through. Ascari didn't get the best of entries there. Turn number 9. So as they all come through, and they're distracting Arjun in any way possible. Not able to get through, but she knows she'll finish ahead of him once the penalties do apply. But here's Ramsell on course for yet another victory. I think Ascari's got by Arjun this time, so she's through at last. But Ramsell's coming through underneath the bridge. 4 more corners to get through here. It's been a convincing victory for him, no doubt. And he's given himself a slim hope of snatching the crown from Arjun. Ramsell into the last turn for the last time. And he's going to take the feature race victory in Singapore. Ramsell wins. Ascari will come home in second place on her return to the Formula Racing League. Very well done to her. Arjun down to 4th place behind Willie with that time penalty. So Arjun collecting 20 points. Ramsell picking up 42. We'll go through the championship standings in a moment. But just watch Statistic King hold off Podge, who will fall behind Lucifer and Stephen, no question. And I think Podge will be on reverse grid pole for the sprint race later on. He will do. So Stephen 7, Podge 8, Vintage 9, Winfield 10th, World Dog will be 11th, and hello there, 2 laps down in 12th place. So Ramsell on top, collects 42 championship points, Don Arjun getting over 20, which means the gap is down to 23 points going into the final race of the season with 32 left on the table. So for Ramsell to clinch the championship or snatch it, or for Don Arjun, I should say, for him to wrap up the title in the sprint race, he would need to finish 7th or higher to guarantee himself it. But it's Ramsell who wins the first race of the night here in Singapore. So the drivers celebrating on the podium. It's a splendid victory for Ramsell. Can't remember how many wins he's actually achieved this season. I'd have to go back and have a look. But it was a dominant performance, and he's given himself a chance in the championship with 1 race to go. So Ramsell wins, getting the point for the fastest out and the points for pole position. Luna Scurry 2nd, ahead of William 3rd. Arjun 4th, Statistic King 5th, ahead of Lucifer. Stephen Podge will start on reverse grid pole. He came home in 8th place. Vintage 9th and Winfield 10th. Wild Dog 11th, and hello there in 12th. Rounding off the finishers, Dust and Mima Moody did not finish. So that's the feature race. Onto the sprint, the 12-lap sprint race to wrap up the season. Do not go anywhere. Here we go then for this 12-lap sprint race, the last one of this season. And we've got a title to be decided between the two high-tech drivers of Don Argent and Ramsell. So the drivers go off onto their formation. I can see Dustin Moody's car is controlled by the AI. They've not returned back to the lobby for the second race. So I think this is something for next season. I think the admins need to sort out, actually, because what they can't forget is they're doing 2 races in F2, not just the 1. So Podge leading the field round, Stephen alongside, and it's Lucifer and Statistic King on the second row. Argent 5th, ahead of William and Luna, when Ramsell running out the top 8. Vintage, Winfield, Wild Dog, and Hello There are next behind. Dust and Moody, as I've already mentioned, are controlled by the AI. So for Ramsell to win the championship, he would ideally need to get maximum points, and for Argent to be 8th or lower. He's got to finish in the top 2 to stand any chance. If he doesn't do that, it doesn't matter what happens to Argent, he'll be the one being crowned champion tonight. So Podge coming into the last couple of turns, flying up on the reverse grid pole. Can he lead the field into turn 1 and pull away? He's yet to score a victory this season. Could tonight be the night for him? You can see Ramsell in 8th place, slotting into position. And with Argent 5th, he just needs to finish ahead of him to guarantee himself the crown. Here we go then for one last time, the 24th and final race of this F2 season in the FRL. Podge on pole, Stephen alongside. Who's going to lead the field into turn 1? It's lights out, and away we go. Podge gets off the line okay. Stephen does as well. Just watching Lucifer, who loses out to Statistic King initially, but Statistic King had to slam on the brakes to make sure he didn't run into his teammate. So Lucifer is back into 5th position. Oscari's up to 6th place already, so she's made a good getaway. Now the cars are going through turn 5 now. Hopefully no incidents this time around. And they're all through safely, so that's good to see. Podge in front there, and watch Argent diving to the inside there of Statistic King straight away. So Argent not hanging around by any means. Up to 4th place, and look at her, Luna Oscari diving to the outside there, taking advantage of Statistic King's slow exit out of turn 7, and she's got through. William getting by as well, and now Ramsell, he needs to get by these guys very, very quickly. Statistic King dives to the inside, but he nearly went into the wall there, did Statistic King. He's lost the position there to Ramsell, so Ramsell through into 7th place. Can he get in front of Williams? They go through turns 12 and 13. And someone's off. It looks like Vintage just had a bit of a scrape with the wall somewhere. And Argent passing Lucifer now for 3rd. So Argent doing a fine job at the moment. Ramsell, meanwhile, needs to get past Will and start putting his teammate under pressure and the championship rival. Luna Oscari behind Lucifer in the battle for 4th place. Will she get through? And Podge ends the first lap in the lead and will get a time penalty now for track limits. So not good news for him. He was able to pull away a little bit on Ramsell by cutting across that double left-hander. So Argent looking to complete a switch. They exit turn 5, which he's able to do. Very nicely done here from Argent, and this is him going into second place, I think. They leave each other enough space. Argent to the outside. He will brake later because he's on the racing line. He gets run out wide though. Ascari dive into the inside there of Lucifer. They just about avoided contact. So we're now watching as Arjun runs wide at turn 10. He's struggling on this. Is he going to be able to complete a switch back on the exit of turn 13? Well, he's into the slipstream. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go the long way round here. Is the championship favourite. To the outside, and that's a very beautiful, clean manoeuvre. As satisfying as you would ever want to see it. As you watch Lucifer running wide there, and surely Ascari's through here, and she is. So Ascari's through now. Ramsell gets penalised for track limits. That is not good news for his championship hopes. He's got to get by everyone, get up to the front and pull out a gap of 3 seconds over everyone else, but even that might not be enough for him to clinch the championship. Podge with a new fast lap. Arjun now with the fastest lap. TRS now enabled for the drivers as Lunisco looks to catch Stephen in the battle for the final podium position. Ramsell needs to get a nice exit at turn 5 here. Can he get past Luna Ascari here? The answer to that question is not quite. Ramsell will be looking to get past though. There is a gap on the outside which he uses very well, in fact. Uses all the space he can, and this is going to be him going to the inside of the MP Motorsport car. That's got front wing damage, I've just noticed, so Lucifer won't be too happy with the handling or the aerodynamic efficiency of that machine. But it is what it is. He'll have to make do with that unless we get a safety car that may enable him to come in for a pit stop and get the front wing changed. Ramsell getting a nice exit out of turn 13 there, but he's just not close enough because Lucifer is also using the DRS. Now Argent will be looking to get in front here. Slides coming into turn 16. Or 18 I should say. This is turn 20 and 21. Will now ahead of Lucifer for 6th place. Ramsell was able to get by the MP. Arjun now with a new fastest start, 1 minute 53.0. Ramsell's lost a lot of time being stuck behind other cars, so he's got to go after Ascari here, who is on the tail of the ART of Stephen. Statisticking in 8th place ahead of Winfield. Both of them fighting over position. Can Ascari get a good exit here and use the DRS to her advantage? She goes to the outside. Will she stay there? She will stay there, and she'll get the move done. So good move there from Ascari. She moves up to 3rd place as we watch Ramsell close in on Stephen. As they all get through here, is Ramsell going to be close enough to have a go on the ART pilot? To the outside, he may complete a bit of a switcheroo. He's he going to be close enough with DRS here, though? He thought about a move. Stephen goes deep. Ramsell takes advantage. And this is surely going to be him on the inside for the next chicane. And Ramsell gets through into 5th place, does he? Stephen's still there, though. Stephen, leave him enough space. This is robust from Stephen, but fair. And that's the kind of racing we've been after. Oh, Stephen getting out of shape. Holds Ramsell up. Surely he must have damaged the car by doing that. I think he has damaged it. He's damaged his front wing on the left-hand side. So that'll be the ART driver struggling. Ramsell on the inside. He's got the DRS, and this is surely going to be a clean manoeuvre. Stephen needs to be careful not to hold him up too much. He moved too late there. Ramsell runs wide. That was a little bit naughty, that, from Stephen. Not sure if Ramsell getting in time. Oh, he's being overtaken by Will, who goes past. So, Stephen defending for all his life to remain in front there. But I'm not sure if that move on Ramsell was on, if I'm honest with you. That looked pretty too aggressive. Will going to the outside. Ramsell will need to get back through ahead of him very, very quickly here. But needs to be careful not to damage his own car. Otherwise, he's going to suffer a loss in performance. Well, he's got by Stephen eventually. So Ramsell back into 5th, but he needs to make it 4th very, very quickly here now. He is very much running out of time. As it stands, Don Argent will be crowned champion of Season 5 F2 in the Formula Racing League. So Ramsell rearing open behind the Cheroux. Don't think he's going to complete an overtake manoeuvre there. He may take a different line on the exit. Takes all the curve he can, but wasn't the best of exits from him. Podge now with a time penalty for track limits. Now, Don Argent won't need to pass him if he doesn't want to. So as it stands, he'll be taking the race victory, as well as the championship, of course. Ramsell in 5th position, still trying to get in front of Will. Well Dog now with a penalty for track limits. That's his second one in this race. And it looks like someone's gone off. Is that... It's on Argent! Argent spun round at turn 1. A twist in the tail in the championship. Argent falls down to 8th place. Now, if Ramsell could get up to the front... Now, he won't win the championship as it stands. But if Ramsell was to win the race and get the fastest lap, that would be enough for him to be crowned champion, unless Don Argent can get back into the top 7. We can see Ramsell going side by side there, look, with the Cheroux of William. The two make contact. Keep it steady, boys. We don't want any collisions in this race now. Ramsell just needs to be patient here, not take too many risks. William cuts across there, and that was maybe a little bit too late there. Ramsell getting caught on the curbs. Taking the best line possible there. We will have DRS on this short straight. He doesn't go for it into turn 14. You can see Don Argent's closing back in now on Winfield and Lucifer. Ramsell's got past Will this time. Or has he? Because Will's fought back. And Ramsell's losing too much time here now. This has got to be the point where he needs to get by him. And get by him and pull away. Will he do it on the pit straight, I wonder? Argent now with a penalty. That's further good news, actually, for Ramsell. Rear wing open. Does he go for it into turn 1? He's going to have to. Williams going far too defensive here. That was a little bit too robust there from William. Ramsell will not like that one bit. Argent's got by Winfield on the road, but he has that penalty hanging over him. So as it stands, he would fall back behind Winfield. Ramsell going to the outside. William needs to be careful here. He's moving across more than once here, so the stewards may decide to have a look at that. And Lucifer's gone for a spin as well. I think he's had a moment. So, oh, he's made contact with the Prema. That was naughty from Lucifer. Came too far back to have a go. And he's wrecked his own front wing. Arjun's back into 6th place on the road, which would be 7th as it stands. So, would that be enough for him to be guaranteed champion? I don't think it would be yet. So, Ramsell will be looking to get back through here on William. He needs to do so very, very quickly. So Ramsell completing the switchback. This is surely going to be him on the inside here. Can he run William out wide? He can. He leaves him enough room. And Ramsell is through at last. So Ramsell through into 3rd place. The next driver up for him is Luna Ascari, who's another 3.5 seconds up the road. So Ramsell's got it all to do now in the remaining 5 laps of this race. And we can see Don Arjun getting through here on Stephen. Round the outside he goes. Is he through? Stephen leaves him enough space. He tries to get through on him at the curb, but he's got Winfield behind. Lucifer in the pits for a new front wing. Vintage as well. Now this could be bad news for Ramsell actually, because with these two in the pits, they may decide to go for the fastest lap points. And there we can see Wild Dog and Statisticking going toe to toe. Wild Dog completes and looks to be a fairly decent manoeuvre. Although Statisticking fights back, Wild Dog is still there. And Wild Dog into the barrier there, destroys his front wing. And that just wraps off what's been a very difficult season for him. So Ramsell pulling away now from Will. And with Don Arjun having a 3-second time penalty, that would drop him behind Winfield. But it will still be enough for him to be crowned champion as it stands. So Ramsell getting the gap down all the time. 2.5 seconds it is now, as the two drivers cross over the start-finish line. And Ramsell now has the fastest lap points. This is going to be an intense end here. But Ramsell at the moment not doing enough. Got looking at Podge's time penalty, it's a 3-second one, so even though Podge may have that 3-second time penalty, he would still win this one by 1.5 seconds over Luna Ascari. But Ramsell is on a charge. The gap is still 2.5 seconds, as we are now into the final third of this sprint race. And someone's gone off in sector 3, not sure what that is all about. That might have been Vintage having a moment or something, or maybe Lucifer. So Luna Ascari just wants to end this evening with a victory here. She's not doing enough for herself to come out on top. I have to say, Podge has done very well in this one. I didn't think he'd maintain position, He's done very well from reverse grid pole to keep himself up there. So as it stands, Ramsell in this race will be collecting 21. Don Argent, with the time penalties applied, he'll be 6th in this one and collecting 12. So he would win the championship by 14 points over Ramsell. .1 seconds is the gap between Ascari and Ramsell. Ascari continuing to close in. Lucifer now has the fastest lap points. So that's bad news for Ramsell in his hopes for the championship. Ascari pushing ever so hard. Ascari has got the gap down to 4 seconds now. It's going to be very close in terms of who will win this one. Podge is about to start the penultimate lap of this race. It's been a dominant drive from him. And Ramsell's got the gap down to 1.5 seconds between himself and Ascari on the road. But even if he was to get by Ascari, he would not finish ahead of her. Ascari on course for her personal best lap of the race so far. Ramsell will know. How far is he off the fastest lap? Well, Ramsell at the moment, he is 6/10 off the fastest lap. And Lucifer now gets a penalty for track limits. That won't affect his finishing position by any means. And Luna Ascari has now got the gap down to 2.2 seconds I've just seen. So I wonder if Podge has made a mistake somewhere. And all of a sudden, Luna Ascari is now in the frame to win this one at the expense of him. So Podge needs to find 7/10 in the next lap and a bit if he wants to come out on top in this. I don't think Luna Ascari could believe her luck, to be quite honest with you. But fortune is very much on her side now. Ramsell coming through. That was not his best lap of the race. He's 3 seconds behind Podge. So does Don Argent in 5th place, doing all he needs to do. He will finish ahead of Winfield. I've just seen Ramsell being given another time penalty as well, so that's his chances of the championship pretty much gone now. Argent seems to have it in the bag. And even if Ramsell didn't finish, so even if Argent didn't finish the race, Ramsell would still need to have finished in the top 2 to have any chance, but he's not in the top 2. He's currently in 3rd place. So Podge will be gutted to be losing this race victory here because of the time penalties. But it was most certainly a good effort from him. Let's give him that. So what's been an interesting season, it has to be said, in F2 in the Formula Racing League. It's about to end under the lights here in Singapore. Podge will take the win on the road, but it's Luna Ascari on her return to the FRL. They'll win the sprint race here tonight. Ramsell continues to close in on her, but he won't have enough time to overtake her now. Podge coming through. There's 4 more turns. And he's going to come through and take the victory on the road. But it's Luna Ascari who wins on her return to the FRL. Luna Ascari takes the victory in Singapore. Podge will be second, Ramsell third, William fourth, and Don Argent, by finishing fifth, is the F2 champion in the Formula Racing League. Very well done to him. Winfield sixth, Wild Dog. Just look and see what his penalty's like. He'll fall behind Stephen and Statistic King for sure. So Wild Dog ends his season in 9th place. Statistic King will go to 7th, Stephen 8th, Wild Dog 9th. Lucifer will be 10th and getting the points for the fast start. Vintage, who I think is trying to go for the fastest start, but he's a long way back anyway, so he'll finish 11th. Mima Moody and Dust, their cars won't be classified, I don't think, because their cars were controlled by the AI, so hello there. Should be 12th, providing he gets round without any more drama. But Luna Ascari is your race winner in the sprint race here tonight. And a very, very big congratulations to Don Argent on being crowned the F2 champion. It's been a very competitive season. Don Argent collecting 13 points, Ramsell collecting only 19, so the championship gap has ended with a 17-point margin between the high-tech drivers. So there's Luna Ascari, who managed to box her way to victory. Podge second, and Ramsell having to settle for third. Even if he did win the race and got the fastest lap points, it would not have been enough to deprive Don Argent of the championship anyway. But he'll be happy with his second place, despite his late entry to the title battle this season. So Luna Ascari wins the sprint race, ahead of Podge in second place. Ramsell is third, ahead of Will in fourth. Don Argent fifth, Winfield sixth, Statistic King seventh, and Stephen eighth. Wild Dog ninth, and Lucifer getting the finishing time again, the fastest lap points. Vintage 11th, with Mima Moody and Dust cars controlled by the AI, and hello there was the last of the finishers. So that wraps up this F2 season. Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations again to Don Argent on clinching the crown, and he'll be hoping to retain his title next season. Thank you very much for joining us. Do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and we can't wait to do it all over again for the new season, for the tiers of 1 and 2 of F1 in the Formula Racing League that begins next week. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.